good night. It is December 12th, 2025, and if you can believe it, it is a Friday once again. Here in Sherbrooke, it is currently -7 degrees Celsius, 19 degrees Fahrenheit. The sun this morning rose at 7:17 a.m. and it set at 4:04 p.m. Now, I believe we're on day 4 or 5 of this 4:04 p.m. sunset time streak. I don't recall what it was yesterday for the sunrise, but the sunset has been 4:04 p.m. for several days now. But once again, I must warn you to not be fooled, because the days are getting shorter, objectively. It was cold today. I was in Drummondville, but I was inside. Although we ended, I was scheduled from 9 to 5, but we finished at noon, which was to be expected. I was at the convention center and we were setting up. I believe I mentioned this yesterday. Just this configuration for Christmas parties that companies will, rent the space for. But everything was pretty much prepared. We just had to bring the trusses with the lighting up to the ceiling and just install stuff on the ground and bring the stages back. Anyway, it was cool. I was working with my friends. It was fun. But I was very tired. I didn't sleep enough last night. And woke up early and I went to Quebeco, one of my favorite fast food restaurants that only exists in one location in Drummondville. And I had a cheeseburger that was very good. The Big Zorba. I had a Big Zorba. And some onion rings. But I am really tired. I just woke up from a nap and I don't really feel much more rested. There's a show tonight that I wanted to go to. It's Violette P, which is a great band I've seen a few times before. Great show. It's at a venue where I work, so it's free. And several of my friends are going to be there. However, I am exhausted. And that's frustrating. Because I've been telling myself that, with the limited amount of time that I have left on this planet, inside of this body, it would be a shame to... Not it would be... I find that it is a shame that I spend so much time avoiding social contact when I believe that ultimately that's what is the most important, is relationships, human relationships. But I do a lot of avoidance, and it's not even just avoidance. I'll just opt to... Oh, no, I guess it is avoidance. I was gonna say I opt to stay home alone because it's easier. But that is avoidance of things that are more difficult, but ultimately more enriching. But it's sold out, so there's going to be a ton of people there, and I'm going to end up drinking. I'm going to end up drinking alone at home anyway, but having some digestive issues, likely due to not eating breakfast, or no, I ate breakfast. No, I ate breakfast. Then eating fast food, which leads to me being more tired. And it's not that cold outside, but I just have to walk, for 15, 20 minutes. So I'm just not going to go. Should I go? No, I'm not going to go. I have to work tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and it's not going to be a difficult day, but just manage to go to bed relatively early, get a good night's sleep. I'll feel so much better tomorrow. I just feel sad because I feel like I should be able to have the energy to just go out and see my friends. But I've also made choices of drinking, going to bed too late last night, not really eating well or sufficiently in the past few days. So, what are the consequences of that? Obviously, I feel fucking exhausted. So I think I'm just going to watch that episode of television and try to go to bed early. Today, I'm thinking about Aphex Twin. I'm surprised I've only talked about Aphex Twin once. I probably mentioned Aphex Twin several times, but like looking through my previous videos, I only talked about Aphex Twin once, like officially. Talk about a song officially. So I was listening to Vord Husband by Aphex Twin off of Drux, which I mean is one of many ways to pronounce it because it's not a real word. Druqs. His album from 2001. I think it's his best album. I think it is. I mean, I know that it is one of my favorite albums, and I think it's one of the greatest albums of all time. Which is saying a lot, but as far as quality of the music, I was going to say cultural impact, but that would be a lie. I mean, the impact on the culture of electronic music is very important. Culture in general. Although Aphex Twin did have, has had a big impact on, I guess big is relative as well. I don't know. I mean, I'm really biased because I love this album so much. It's like split between like acoustic piano music, but like it's a computer-controlled piano. It's a disc clavier, which is like a MIDI-controlled like acoustic piano, which is often like prepared. If you don't know what that means, it is just essentially just like sticking shit between the strings, the piano strings. A method pioneered by Mr. John Cage, legendary composer. It just changes the timbre of the piano sound. So you have like, it just pretty much alternates between these shorter prepared piano pieces and then just some of the most intricate, a word I realized I use a lot on in yesterday's weather report talking about drum corps. But it's just very, like, just intricate, meticulously crafted and composed and edited, often super fast electronic music. I've not really ever heard anything quite like it since, and this came out 24 years ago. It's crazy that this came out in 2001. It's nuts. It's nuts that this came out in 2001. I mean, like, I've listened to slowed down versions just to try to figure out, like, how this is possible. I know he used, fuck, I forgot the name. Piece of software, with a tracker interface. If you don't know about, like, music creation software, often what we see now with stuff like Ableton and Fruity Loops, and even like recording software like Pro Tools or Reapers, it goes from like left to right, sort of like video editing software. You'll have like a timeline. Like trackers, great modern example is Renoise, which is fantastic, which I've not learned to use in a way that I feel like I'm proficient, but I have made a lot of music using Renoise, especially breakbeat based music. Because it's really good for that. Essentially, it's a vertical interface. I know I've talked about this before, but the earliest software for musical composition did use this type of interface. It's essentially just really good for like making very small, like edits in very small increments of time. Because especially in like more modern tracker software, you can change like the resolution of each little step, right? It's like, it'll just like tick through each little step and you can just like put effects or like manipulate. It's often, quite sample based and do these like manipulations. In a very like granular, like short time scale. I'm sorry, I just woke up from a nap and I'm just rambling. And this is a perfect example of this. This song is so detailed. And yeah, I've definitely listened to like slowed down versions. I might have actually at some point probably have just like taken these songs, put them in recording software, and just like slow them down, just trying to figure out like what is going on. And it's just so impressive, even slowed down, but to the point where like it can be this fast, and these details are still apparent. The brilliance of the sound design, the brilliance of the composition, shines through even at like breakneck pace. It's amazing. The legend, although might not be true, Aphex Twin has a long history of just lying for fun, I'm assuming, because he thinks it's funny. But he'd said at some point that he had lost a hard drive on a plane with all these songs, and he's like, well, they're gonna show up on the internet at some point, so I might as well just put them out. He started to just like haphazardly put them out, and he said something really interesting. And I don't know if this was like right when the album came out, but it's definitely a long time ago. And he said like, well, I know it's like a bunch of tracks, and it's just sort of like a amalgamation of all these different tracks, but I don't expect people to listen to the whole thing. You know, I expect people to just pick and choose and take the tracks that they like and put them on their computer in whatever order that they want, or like, and again, I'm just totally paraphrasing. But what people do now with playlists, and he's like, yeah, I think that's what people do now. They don't listen to albums; they just grab the tracks that they want. Which I thought was like a fascinating way of thinking about like putting out music 25 years ago, but also that it's perfect. Like it's this perfect thing. And there's just like weird stuff, like every song ends with like 7 seconds of silence for some reason. I don't know. It is an odd record, but it is a singular album in its brilliance. Like I say brilliance, but it is brilliant. It is amazing. It is genius. It's so good. Like I was re-listening to the song like Zygomatic 17, which for some time was my favorite song off of the album. And I was thinking, like, I should talk about Zygomatic 17. But then I was also thinking, like, it's definitely not the most fun song to listen to. Ward Husband is one of those. It's just so good. And I think it's one of the more accessible tracks on the album, which is definitely not an accessible album. It's not like the most difficult thing to listen to. I think it's a lot of fun, but it's long, and the whole like alternating between these like really fast, complicated electronic tracks and these like more laid back, often pretty. I mean, this album, I almost forgot, has Avril 14, which is his best known song, which you've likely heard at some point. It was also sampled by Kanye West in the song Blame Game, I think. Fun fact about that, allegedly, according to Aphex Twin, that sample was used without permission, although it was probably clear by the label. And Aphex Twin tried to contact Kanye West through his people or whatever. We're just like, hey, I don't care that you use the sample, but you slowed it down, and you must have used like a shitty like compressed copy because it sounds awful. If you want, what I can do is I can just re-record the song because it was done with a disc clicker. Like I can just re-record the song for you, or whatever like part that's looped, and send it to you so it'll sound better. And he was just told like, no, we didn't sample your track, which is false. It's obviously sampled, but then again, this might just be complete bullshit because Aphex Twin, Richard D. James, aka Aphex Twin, it's a long history of talking out of his ass for fun. But yeah, like I'll just say one thing about Zygomatic 17, right? Although it's one of my favorites, I don't think it's one of the best songs on the album. It's just like or maybe it is. I just feel like it's like more advanced in a way, right? Where like a song like Ford Husband is just so good. To me, just like it's an immaculate song. Excuse me, it's perfect. However, Zygomatic 17 is like, okay, I have described complicated. I've already been talking for 15 minutes. God. But I'm passionate about this. I have described in the past Aphex Twin's music, but also different kinds of like more complex electronic music as more akin to like sculptures and songs, because they'll be like sometimes like really like linear as opposed to like repetitive. Where like, there are some Aphex Twin songs, a lot of Aphex Twin songs, which like you'll never have like more than a couple bars or even 2 bars that are this exactly the same, right? So it's like this like linear progression as opposed to creating repetition over time. I'm sure there'll be elements that repeat, but there's always going to be something different throughout the song. And to me, it sounds like a sculpture through time, right? Just creating these shapes through time that doesn't have this like regular pattern, right? And Zygomatic 17 is a perfect example of this. Like, it is really impressive where it starts and where it ends, which are completely different. But the way it like weaves in and out of itself, if that makes sense. Like, it weaves in and out of the more coherent parts and like the recurring motifs throughout. But also the motifs themselves are like, will like show up, but then every time they show up again will be another deconstructed version of themselves. It's really difficult to describe. I'm sure people with a better vocabulary probably could do a better job, but it's just so impressive. Anyway, check out Aphex Twin. Later today, I my stomach sort of hurts, and I just need to get on with my night and go to bed early. Once again, it's been strange. The sun has been setting at the same time every afternoon, and every night. When I finally do the weather report, the rest of the night it just stays the same temperature in Celsius. It only has a variation of 1 degree Fahrenheit. It's going to go down to -8 degrees Celsius, 19 degrees Fahrenheit, and stay -8 degrees Celsius and go down to, that's at 9 p.m. Or sorry, at 8 p.m. Now. And between 10 11 p.m. It's the same in Celsius, but 18 degrees Fahrenheit. The days have been similar as far as the weather goes. No, I'm not going to go out. I was trying. I'm not going to go out. Okay. Everyone, have a great night. Have a great night.